Well, even more twists in the Oscar Mabuyane Fort Hare University saga. The university is now laying charges against the professor who admitted Mabuyane into the master's degree program. Officials from the institution found he did not meet the minimum requirements, but the Eastern Cape Premier is planning to appeal the university's decision to deregister him. Mabuyane's spokesperson, Mvusiwekhaya Sicwetsha, is joining us now via Skype. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it. So let's just try and get the basics right here. The Premier, did he register and was deregistered and then re-enrolled by this professor?
No, Premier applied. Good afternoon to you and your viewers. Premier applied like any student, any other student, and he did not apply to Professor Ijeoma. He applied to the university and was admitted by the university, not by a professor, because there is no university in South Africa or anywhere in the world where a student applies to a professor. You apply to a university and you are admitted through the policies of that university, as was the case here. It was the university that allocated a professor to him. So he has been studying with the university since 2017, where because of his other commitments, he could not continue with the work the way he wanted to, and took up the work again in 2018. And as part of that work, he had to present his proposals and everything that he was doing to a panel of professors of the faculty. So it's not true that he was admitted by an individual.
Yeah. So they say that he didn't meet the minimum requirements for admission. Who then decided to admit him into the institution in the first place? Do you know, was it just the admissions department and that the university later found out that the Premier didn't meet the requirements?
It would be interesting that the university would say that when a student has been granted an ethical clearance by the Inter-Faculty Clearance Committee to conduct the research work, which is the final part of the course that he's doing. Because why were they not looking into this if there were irregularities, which Premier emphatically says there were none, because he was admitted by the university. He went through the normal admissions process of the university. Students don't set admission processes and policies in universities. These are things that are done by the management and the senate of the university. So he went through that process and he was admitted. He was processed like any other student. So he rejects the claim that is made by the university that there was irregularities around his application and his admission. That's why he is appealing to council now to prevail on this matter, because Senate has treated him unfairly. The interesting thing here is that when he was told about this letter or intention to deregister him, he first heard about it from a journalist and not from the university. And when he spoke to the university ignored him up until March. And it's very interesting and concerning that the university would drop a ball. And instead of them looking at this matter, they are treating him with unfairness and disrespect. That is contrary to what the policies of the university say.
Yeah, and of course the university has gone further to say that this professor is also accused of other illegal activities, including fraud, and that there was someone else who was working with him to illegally or irregularly admit people into the institution. So it doesn't just stop at the Premier's office, or the Premier, I should say.
You know, the worrying thing here is that the university doesn't seem to take ownership of the alleged conduct of their employee. And they throw that responsibility to a media statement trying to gain sympathy on a matter that the leadership of the institution should take action on if they find that there is evidence against their employee. Mr. Mabuyane is not a spokesperson of Professor Ijeoma. He is not his employee. So he can't talk about allegations that his employer is making against his supervisor. It was them who said to him when he applied, which he applied through the recognition of prior learning, by the way. They said, we're going to allocate you this professor. And when they suspended him, they then allocated him another professor. And they were continuing with the academic work with that professor, Professor Takati. And only to find now, when he was even granted clearance to do research work, he was told by a journalist that the university did not even have decency to speak to him to say, we have got this issue that we find these allegations. Allow him representations or chance to make representations to say, what are you saying about this? They did not say that. They did not do that. Instead, what you see is it's a character assassination driven by individuals within the university to do something that is contrary to the policies of the university. That is why you will wake up one day with a comment, an adverse comment by the Vice Chancellor of the university against concerns that Mr. Mabuyane raised about the killing of students in that university. So it shows you that the management of the university is really having a vendetta against Mr. Mabuyane, and they're using the policies and the power that they have in the university to kick him out when he's a duly registered student of that university.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory. So what then, apart from appealing with counsel, does the Premier do to clear his name?
Look, his view is that all options are on the table. He trusts that, unlike Senate and the management of the university, the council will look into the matter and apply the policies of the university, because the council is responsible for the leadership of the university. He has confidence that council members will look into this issue and hear him out. And if something that he doubts, if that fails or they don't agree with his submission, he has got legal avenues to present his case so that that decision of the university is set aside. Because you can't, when you are an institution, take decisions, admit a student, go with the student throughout the academic journey, and when he's nearing the end, you pull up a stunt like this. It's really wrong. It's unfair. There is no student in South Africa who should be treated this way. The reason Mr. Mabuyane wanted to do the master's program that he's doing is because he wants to contribute to the public policy of this country, because government is at the coalface of meeting the people's needs. And this institution is not strange to him, or he's not a stranger to this institution. He was a student here, he did his junior degree here, and during his time he contributed a lot to salvaging the institution from what it was. Because remember, at that time it was nearing closure. It was possible that when government was talking about shape and size, the university was not making money, and there were a lot of problems that it was facing. So it was facing closure. Together with his comrades at the time and the leadership of the university, they worked together with government and other stakeholders to salvage the university, get young people to enroll, and quite a number of them have graduated from the university and are contributing to the economy. So he loves the university, and he does not think that because there are individuals there who don't like him or who don't like the fact that he raises concerns, like any member of society, when things are not done correctly at the university or by the university. So they're abusing this power to kick him out of the university. He feels that's wrong and unfair.
All right, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. That was Oscar Mabuyane spokesperson, Mvusiwekhaya Sicwetsha.